How are we? Right, flipping. I've got to fix a whisk, so I thought that you may as well join me whilst we do it. Seeing as I'm stuck in here by myself, it's nice to have a little bit of company. Let me know, by the way, as well, if that fan is too noisy, but that's my only little heater in here, so in the workshop. And if it's too noisy, obviously I'll turn it off, but otherwise, I'd rather leave it on because it's freezing cold. So, anyway, let me get that, sorry. That's be a pain in the ass, isn't it? I'll put this on silence. There we go. Right, so basically what's happened is, which is bizarre, because I did one of these the other day. I fixed one of these for my mate, but my whisk has been dragged along the floor of my van. And I don't know if you can see that. I use a DeWalt cordless whisk, okay? I only use this for mixing up monocouche render. But if you can see that, see the wire? I don't know where the camera is on this, I think it's there. Look at the wire there, it's all been ragged out. So, I have to fix it. That needs repairing because I've got a monocouche job next week. Something else that needs sorting as well as fixing the lead. Look at the state of the end of that there. Look at all this build-up. So what happens, you say to the young lads, wash it off, keep it clean, but that's how they leave it. So we'll clean that up as well. Anyway, how are we all doing? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Just bear with me 1 second. I'm going to put up the live chat on my phone because I can't read the laptop all the way up there whilst I'm fixing this lead. I'll do it down here. So give me 1 sec. Right. Turn that down. If we go on, Harvey Southall, how are we going, Harvey? Harvey McLaughlin, James Alafoon. There's no this isn't. There's no prizes on this live, so if you're just here for a prize, forget it. Jason Charlesworth, how you doing, mate? Nick O, evening, mates. Lee Stock, Eric, Ask the Plasterer, evening, bruv. Calvin Jones, Harvey Southall, James Alafoon, I must want something for third. Stephen Malone, evening, mate. Was up early for the Saturday Post gutted. South Oxfordshire plastering, what of a one. Listen, you don't win something every single time I come on. It's just when I do the videos. If I upload a video, I'll ask a question in it, you can win. But if I do a live, there's no prizes for the live. So I'm just waiting for the numbers to drop off now because no one's going to win nothing. Craig Potterton, how you doing, mate? Jose Paleo, mate, watching you from the Costa del Sol. And Nathan Alexander, top man. Cheers, mate. Right, okay, let's get this done anyway. That's what I'm here for. Let's get this whisk fixed. So, for those of you who just jumped on, I'm doing a big mono job next week, and this has been ragged across the floor of my van and exposed all the copper wire. See there? So we need to fix this lead. Now, let me know if you can hear me clear enough. I've got my the microphone's down here, so hopefully that's loud enough. Hopefully that's loud enough. Let's see if we can get this sorted. Bear with me. Oh shit, when you go that way around. Don't worry, you're coming back. You're coming back. Not the easiest thing to flipping navigate this. Oh, come on, you bloody thing. Stay. Right. That's that in. Okay. We've got about 6 months worth of plaster built up. In the screw heads. Bloody hell. Oh. Well, we got one out. That's a good start. What can we use to get that out? Flipping heck. She's in tight. The flux capacitor's playing up again. Don't worry about the insulated screwdrivers. I don't give a monkeys about these. What's happened is the head of all these screws is full of plaster. So I don't really want to go through the tedious process of just sitting there picking it out for hours. But We might have to. That's more like it. Another one out. Using this little thing as like a little picking tool, you know. Let's see if that has it. Can you hear me okay, by the way? Jurgen H, how quick could you skim a whole 3-bedroom house? Well, we used to do it when I was on the building sites. There was me, my apprentice, and the labourer, and we would get through a 3-bed semi in 2 days. We'd skim it, but that was when I was like 15 stone. Now things are slightly different, so I would probably say a room will take me about a day these days. So there we go. Next one is out. Another one out. This is the way forward. Just got to work it into the plaster and wiggle it so it cuts the plaster out of the head of the screw. Keep all these safe. There's one more. You take the 4 screws out there. There's one more here. And this is the crap one because it's buried deep in the handle. So guaranteed the lunatic that does the mixing for you fills it completely full of plaster. Of course, you know. I could think of more exciting things to be doing. The missus and kids are out, so what better opportunity to do this than no? Let's see if that'll have it. Oh, it's got it. Got to push hard, but it's in. There she goes. There we go. This is a shorter screw, this. So look, these are all, the 4 corners are all longer. This one's just a little baby one. You'll see it now. So there, the 4 long ones there. You see that? Okay. There's the little baby one. There. See? Let's see what. Can you see what's going on there, yeah? So the cable is kept in here by this little clamp here. I don't know how. Can you see that on the screen or not? Do you not wash the drum? No, not this part. We don't wash this part. He's supposed to wash the end, the whisk part, but I suppose when he's mixing 40 bags a day, he gets a bit lazy, you know. Towards the end of the day, his spirits get quite low, and he doesn't seem to give a monkeys, the lad. So you've just got to remember which screws go where. Oh, flipping heck. Whoever put this in last time? Me. Tightened it up too much. So what usually happens is, when you get new lads, they usually manage to get the lead caught in the whisk and just rip it clean off. You know, it's just snapped off. This lad's been quite good. He hasn't managed to rip it completely off yet. He's just managed to drag it round the van and wear through the lead. So not too bad all in all. Now what I'm going to do, it's only damaged there. So I'm going to pull this through, cut this off, and just reattach it a little bit lower down. See, there's the damaged section there. So I'll just cut it off there. Now, let's see. How are we getting on? DVC 42Y. Can't recommend enough. Milwaukee 12-volt screw gun with torque settings. Every trade should have one. Sound okay? George, yeah, we can see it. Good stuff. Jason Appleton, evening Kirk. How's your bathroom coming along? Been waiting for the updated video. I reckon we've got more chance of seeing little man Kirk on the trowel. Listen, it's a good job my missus isn't listening. I've been getting nagged like you wouldn't believe to get this bathroom finished. But I'm just so busy. I've been trying to get everything done. I'm going for my operation on the 19th on my knee. So after then, as soon as my legs start to get a bit better, I think the bathroom will get finished. But there's a new video coming soon, trust me. Mrs. is wondering what I'm watching and listening to the audio. She probably thinks you're nuts. I'll tell you what we're missing. Wait there 1 second. It's like, just stay still. So my mate come round the other day. I actually fixed his whisk for him the other day. And he did a kind deed. And brought the Spanish lager. Now, I'm not very fond of the Spanish lager, to be fair. Cruz Campo. I much prefer German stuff than Spanish, but I'm not one to refuse a kind gift. So we'll put a few of these down the hatch as well whilst we're doing it. Oh. Cheers. Tell you what, actually. Right, when you're cutting flex, I mean, I'm not teaching you to suck eggs, you might already know, but rather than trying to cut it with your snips, you can end up nicking the wire. So what you want to do is, or what I've found is the easiest way, measure out how much you want to cut off of the sheathing, bend it so it's taut, the outside, and just touch the outside with a nice sharp blade, and it'll just start to open up as you go round. You don't have to cut all the way through it, you just sort of stretching it, and the tension, once you start to slice off, does the rest of the work for you, which makes life a little bit easier. So once you've gone all the way around, you don't even have to cut it, you just keep bending it, and it just tears its way through because you've already started the cut off. So I don't know if you can see the wires just starting to appear there as you do it, and then a little bit of a stretch and it's done. So I haven't nicked these wires inside because the knife was far away from them, whereas when you try and do it with them, there's a risk that you can go right through and snip into the copper itself, you know. And then obviously if you do that, it's going to start shorting out and cause all sorts of problems. So in my experience as well, where this goes into the trigger is only very, very short. So when you cut the sheathing off these cables, if these were going to go into the back of a plug socket, like one of these, you know, one of these bloody things, you can strip loads of copper off. You can strip loads of sheath off the copper because there's like that much space in the back of it. Whereas with this little thing, you know, if you take more than, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch, there'll be copper exposed hanging out the end, so you don't really want any copper on show here. You're never going to get in there, but you just don't really want it on show. So I know to only take off the bare minimum. So if you, I don't know, right, I'm not teaching you to suck eggs. I don't know how much you know about electrics, but if you hold them in such a way where your middle finger is controlling the grip, you can grab hold of it just there, and you're going to pinch just until you go into the sheathing, and then holding the wire there, you can just push and just literally pull off the right amount, you know, because you can control how much you're digging into it with the cutters, with the side cutters, like that, and twist them up so they go in easier. Now, see that blue one? I'd say that's a little bit long for what's going to have to go in the trigger, so just trim that down a little bit. From memory, I think they'll be just the right length. Might be wrong. Might need to make them shorter. We'll see. We will see. Oh. Oh. We'll do these one wire at a time, okay? What you don't want to do when you get your little trigger, this part, is take both the live and the neutral out and then forget what goes where. Now, there is a giveaway because the live and neutral wire that go into the frame and into the whisk itself, they correspond to the same. So obviously 2 browns at the top and 2 blues at the bottom. But even still, you know, if you're a plasterer like me and you've only got a small brain, then you might forget and get it mixed up. So just do one at a time so you know they're going back in the right space. Right. There's my screwdriver. There's the brown one out. And what I'm going to do as well is I'm just looking in the hole to make sure that the screw is all the way backed out the way. What you don't want to do is still have the screw half in, because that'll slide out, and you're trying to feed the new bit of wire in and it's hitting the top of the screw and you think it's in, you tighten it up and then it's not even in, it just falls out again. That's a pain in the ass, so don't do that if you can help it. Now what I did was I measured, well I didn't measure, but I held that cable next to this cable to get a rough idea how long needed to be exposed. So I'm not far off there. Look, it's not, look at, you see where I've cut and how long that is. It's not a million miles away. We'll be all right with that, I think. So brown goes in first. She's in. Make sure you get it all the way in the hole. We don't want any disappointments. Give it a good screwy. Pack it in. Right, that one's done. Neutral. So let's try this. That fits a bit nicer. It's hard with all these screws because they're all clogged up full of crap, you know. The dust that gets inside here, look, it's thick with dust inside here. All the way in. And tightened up. Just give it a good tighten. Now, you can't really get this wrong when you put the when you put this back together. The trigger can only go one way because it's got this little button on the side of it, so it can only go in one way because there's a little space for it to sit here. So that's in the right way there. Now you don't want your cables too tight around your trigger. You need to make sure that they're not pressing against it, because if there's any sort of pressure, if there's any pressure against the side of this housing, when you push this trigger in, it'll lock on, it'll be stuck on. So you want to sort of make sure that nothing is pressed tight against the edge of it. I think we're about right there. Now here's the other little interesting bit. Where these little lugs feed through the frame to attach to the bottom piece so the screws can go through, the wire that runs from the inside of this trigger goes up the handle and it gets in the way there. So once you've got it where you want it, you've got to sort of move that thing out the way. You got to push it out the way a little bit so you can get push it down next to, see how these lugs protrude? You do the same on the other one. So push the wire down the side of it out the way so it's not blocking you from getting in. That's not it. It takes a little bit of fannying around, to be honest with you. It's a pain in the ass. Do you know what I forgot? And none of you's told me. Got to put the what's name on here, haven't I? Got to put the little saddle back on. That's because of the Spanish lager, that. Trex 86. I'm anal about cleaning the mixing paddle, but you always get build up. Yeah. You don't want too much build up, obviously. You don't want any if you can help it, because it's just weight on the end of the whisk. It doesn't really do any harm. It's nice if the lads pick it straight out of the bucket and wash it straight off. But when they've got a million things to do, sometimes they just don't get round to doing it instantly. So it's not the end of the world. It's better if it's not there, but it is what it is sometimes, you know. This is a fiddly motherfucker. Get that wire out the way again. Nice. Let's see. I'm just going to screw in for now. To hold it still. One on that side. Just check that the trigger is loose. You don't want to spend time putting all the screws back in if that thing's going to start wedging. So as you put each screw in, because inside there is so tight with all the flipping gubbins that's in there, if anything is wedging that, even touching the side of it, that'll stick. And if that sticks, it's pointless putting all the screws in. You need to take it back apart and move the wires in a different route, you know. So every time you put a screw in, tighten it up. Just check. Yeah, it's fine. Still works. We'll test it and make sure it works as well. Last screw. Now, we'll plug it in and see if it works. Have you got faith in me? Okay. Have you got faith in me? What do you reckon? Let's have a bet. Do you think this thing will fire up or not? I'll put this on charge. Let's pull that out of there. The phone's dying. Omar for sure, first time. Let's start when you have created. Okay. Artisan Cars, hope you're well. Cheers, my mate. Right, let's see. Let's get a 110 and see if this fires up. Oh. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. You know what? I've never figured out how to get these things to slide in and out of a 110 seamlessly. It always seems like a tug of war trying to get a flipping lead into a 110 or get one out of it. Right, she's in. Make sure the trigger isn't engaged before you turn the bloody thing on. Right, oh, wait there. If that's gone off, right, give me 1 second. So I've just turned my 110 on, and my heater's just turned off, which tells me that I've just overloaded this circuit. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to go and put the circuit breaker back on, and then we'll try it. Unplug the heater. It's obviously too much for it. It's only on a 16 amp breaker in here, so just give me 1 second. I'll just flip this switch. Right. That's that back on. The 110's buzzing. Sounds like a bloody beehive. Shall we see? It worked. Oh, look. Remember I was saying to you about the trigger sticking? Sticking a little bit. Sometimes there's just that much dust in there. Don't forget, this whisk is coming up. I got this when I was 23, so 23, 33, yeah, well, 23, 33. It's 15 years old. This thing's done some mixing, so I suppose it's allowed to have a bit of dust in the trig. don't really want to take it back apart again if I don't have to. We don't have to. This is the fun out of these. It's only the refiner mixers that you have this hassle with because there's so much stuff squashed into that little small space of the handle that if one thing is sort of touching the side of that little trigger housing, that's it. That's the problem you get, which is no bother for me, right? So if I'm mixing up with this, if I'm firing away, you know, mixing up a big tub of Monocouche render and that trigger sticks, I know that I'll just lift that up, right? And I'll tap the trigger and it'll come loose. But the young lad won't know that. I mean, even if you tell him, he'll just panic. Something will happen. The whisk won't stop. He'll be splattering the whole house with flipping Monocouche flying off everywhere. He'll probably rip the lead off, break his leg and fall off the scaffolding with that trigger sticking. So it's quite important that that doesn't stick. So we'll have to go back in again and see what's going on. Let's turn the 110 off. Let's read a few comments first, eh? Let's read a few comments. How are we getting on? Mr. Krish, go on, lad, I have faith. James, get your mascot. No, it's upstairs in the house. Mr. Krish, I love Cruz Campo cheers. I'll be honest with you, it doesn't taste too bad, but for me, Spanish lager, I don't know. German lager, best in the world. English lager's good. Spanish, I don't. Every time I've been abroad and I've drunk Spanish lager, I mean, it just bloats you. So, I don't know. Cruz Campo seems okay. Omar, WD-40. I know. I'll tell you what we might do. Before we take it apart, I've turned it off by the mains. Let's just get the knife up either side of the trigger and make sure there's nothing, there's no crap in there, you know? Obviously, I'm not putting the knife all the way in, so I hit the cables. I'm just going in a little tiny bit, you know? Yeah. Oh, it's definitely sticking. What a pain in the ass. It's the joys of having tools that are like flipping ancient. My daily whisk that I use for skimming is a cordless DeWalt. Now, I swear by refiner mega mixers. These things, these are absolutely indestructible. Believe me, this thing has seen punishment. You cannot kill it. And the DeWalt cordless, I'm already seeing weakness in it after it's been, what, 2.5 years already when I'm using it. the thing is like you can feel the powers, like the battery's fully charged, and you can hear the thing going, woo, 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 like something's burning out inside it already. It is battery powered, but it's almost like there's, you know, something's going to develop with it soon. It's probably going to pack in. So I always keep this on the van anyway, even if I'm not rendering, just in case that decides to give up one day, you know. Oh, look, that trigger. Look, that's stuck with nothing, just by itself. It's sticking on its own. Oh, it's stuck by itself. Okay. Let's get some lubrication in there. Oh. If you're sick of buying little cans of WD-40, you can actually just go and buy a big tub of it that comes with a little spray bottle, and it works out about 200% cheaper. And it smells absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I use this as like aftershave because it drives my missus crazy. I think this, I put WD-40 as basically the reason I've got so many children, because I go in smelling that and she just attacks, you know, she just can't resist. Oh. Smells lovely. Who doesn't like the smell of WD-40? Turn off. Hello?
Hey, you okay?
Yeah, you okay, love?
Are you finishing live?
No, I'm actually on live now. Come and say hello if you want.
No, thanks. I'm just letting you know I'm home.
Nice to have you back.
Okay, want a coffee?
No, I'm okay, thanks, love.
Okay.
I've got a can of juice.
Okay.
You alright?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Did you have a nice time with the horses?
Yeah, okay.
Maisie win?
It's just training.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Is she back at the go? Oh, she's out with her mate. She's at what's her name, aren't she?
Young farmers.
Okay.
That entertainment. Okay, in a bit.
How's the little fella? Is he okay?
He's just woke up. He's in the house.
Alright.
Can we send him out?
No.
Are you sure?
He's a little terrorist.
Haven't you missed him?
He's a 2-foot terrorist.
Alright, I'm going in. Bye.
Alright, babe. See you in a minute. I love you. Oh, that's it. One little squirt. And that now it's look, I can't even get it to stay in. The springy action on that now is wonderful. I'm just going to do it a couple of times to work the WD-40 in. Do you want a little bit of nerd information. WD-40 stands for water displacer 40th attempt. So there was WD-41, WD-1, WD-2, WD-3, and so on. 40 attempts until they got it right. He was determined, wasn't he? Fair play to him. I probably would have got to WD-6 and just thought, fuck it. Doesn't work. Oh, that's beautiful. That now, it's like it's brand new. Right, let's get this back in. Isabel.
Do you like it?
What the hell are you doing? I'm on live on YouTube. Do you want to show everyone your hair?
Don't let me put my song on.
Wait, no, we don't put a song on because a copyright strike. Turn the song off.
Oh.
Okay, so this is, I live in a flipping madhouse. This is my 13-year-old daughter, okay? So be careful with the language. She's only 13. Show them your hairdo. Squat down so they can see.
It's Christmas time. Like it?
I love it, babe. Absolutely love it.
I can't be trusted alone.
You okay?
Are you?
Had a good day?
Yeah.
How was school?
Horrible.
Horrible.
Yeah, I don't like school. By the way, I had a chicken burger for lunch.
So, Isabel is a bit of a nerd, aren't you? She doesn't like telling anyone. But Isabel is one of the smartest ones in the Johnstone household. And she passed her 11 plus. So she goes to a grammar school, which basically I went to a normal school and I was in the bottom sets because I'm not very clever. But Isabel's very clever. So she's like a full-on geek. I'm a plastering geek. Isabel's a real geek. You're smart, aren't you, sweetheart?
Very intelligent.
Highly, as my mate Steve Gore says with his speech impediment, highly intelligent. Right, get this bloody thing back in here. I'm trying to put this back together again, but I'm doing it upside down because I'm trying to make it so these guys can see what I'm doing. I'm just making it harder for myself. Right, because there's a little piece of copper that the wire has to fold behind. There, get in there. Right, done. Okay. Okay, let's try again.
I'll pick it up with the problem is with my charger.
What?
The copper wire sticking out.
Oh, the copper wire sticking out on your thing as well.
Yeah.
What's going on today? Because everything, the copper wire is sticking out on everything. What the hell? Right, okay. You go in. My brain needs to concentrate on what I'm doing here. I'm talking to these guys and you, and I'm getting nowhere with this. All right, sweetheart. You okay? You all right, yeah? Good. Gonna reskin my kitchen of those with a PVA seal glue, guys. So what's the sketch of the SBR that you use? Throw it on, let it dry and skim. Yeah. Fat wallet boy. Yeah, that's basically it, mate. Yeah. SBR is like PVA on steroids. It's just amazing stuff, that's all. I mean, can you get by without it? Yes, we did for years. We used PVA glue for years, and PVA works fine. Is it better than PVA? In my opinion, far better. Does everybody like it? I mean, my dad, even though I've got my own company producing SBR, and I've told him it is the best stuff. No, it's a gimmick. That's my own dad. So if I can't sell it to him, I can't sell it to everyone. But I genuinely believe it's the best stuff on the market. We made it stronger, fast setting, and it's pink. I mean, if you don't like pink, then there's something wrong with you. But yeah, I like it. Oh, there we go. But the same fella, my dad, I mean, the same guy thinks that if you dry line walls, you're a cowboy, because he's a floating set man, you know. He was brought up on sand and cement, and everything had to be floated. And, you know, you'd have to get the feather edges out and all this caper, the derbies, and get everything true and plumb. And if you come along and stick some plasterboard on with some adhesive, then you're basically a chancer, in his opinion. So trying to convert him to SBR is like, just forget it. I mean, some guys like the old way of doing things because they've figured out a way. What it basically is, my dad's figured out a way of getting through his working career with every single job that he comes up against, his way of getting over it. He knows works and he's happy with it. And it's the same with a lot of guys that start using, you know, they've used PVA glue for years. They've never had a problem. So in their eyes, they don't need anything else. It's what they do works, you know. And then the new school come along and we're dry lining stuff and we're using SBR, and the old boys are like, well, I don't need that, you know. So fucking stuck again. So it's, you know, there's still the Amish or the Amish, or however you say it, is still going around with horse and cart, aren't they? So, I mean, their way still works. I've actually made that worse. I think I need a few more cans of beer. That's the only way. Oh, flipping heck. There's a reason that people send these off to refiner rather than doing it themselves. You know, let some other poor bastard deal with it. Let's get this in perfect. Let's clean that wire off for a start. I'm going to change the direction of these wires inside here. So at the minute, if you can see that, I don't know how good the camera is on this. At the minute, the little screw lug here in the center, the cable coming in goes to the left of it, but these cables that go to the motor also go to the left of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slacken that off and put them on the right side of it, which gives a lot of space here, and then they should fit in lovely. So that's what we'll do now instead. We'll just do a little bit of wiggling round and create a lot more space. That might have been how it originally was, and I haven't remembered. So I usually do this after a few beers, so chances are that I've got this wrong a few times in the past. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing there. Probably not. But it's been the third time this has come off now, so I'm past the point of caring about getting the camera perfect. I just want the bloody thing back on and working before you lose faith in me. The good thing is there's 9 more cans in there, so we've got plenty of time. These little saddles, you always want to make sure you put these on fairly tight, because people will pull things round by the lead, you know. And the last thing you want to do is put stress on the electrical connections. So always make sure those little saddles are down nice and tight. Oh, look at that. Magic. I think that was the problem. I think that's what I was doing wrong. Putting too many cables down one side. Should we see if this does it instead? What's that? Micro cement. I had to strip and clean a whisk with a bucket of knauf, or north, or naff, or however you pronounce it. I got spilt over it. Fair play. Be gamble, you'll be there all night. I won't. This is it. This is the last go. I'll tell you now. This is it. Have some faith in me, will you? Let's just get this in nicely before. There. Having a flipping laugh. What's going on? It's getting worse. Oh. Right, that is perfect there. See, if I'd made this as an actual video, I would have edited all these cock-ups out, wouldn't I? But I like to try and stay true and give you as much real life crap as possible. Let's see. Put that one in. Let's put this one in down here, opposite corner. Now, there's 97 people on. Can you all please, if 97 of us all pray at the same time, there's no reason why this won't work. What is going on? Oh, it's driving me flipping nuts. You know for a fact, right, if you weren't watching, this would have been fixed about an hour ago. But because you're watching me, Sod's Law states that this has to become an absolute pain in the ass. I've only done this about 30 times in the past, and it's been fine. And the one time I decided to do it, when there's 100 of us, it becomes an absolute bitch. Let's see what can possibly be going fucking wrong inside here. That is fine. There's nothing restricting it whatsoever. Come on. Where's the bloody screwdriver gone? There's a little tiny bit of build-up inside there. Let's clean that off. It might just be that. Plug it in. Can you imagine? I've been electrocuted quite a few times, to be fair. It's not that fun. That's looking beautiful. Again, it doesn't matter until the screws are in them. That's the thing. It's not worth putting all 4 screws in until you know for a fact that the trigger is free. Oh, it's looking good. Little bitch. Is it just because it's down low? How can it? Oh. It's almost like the thing's sitting too low. The minute that bottom screw goes in. Oh. Right, there must be something pulling that way. Is it? It might have been that. It may have been that. That little capacitor thing was a bit tight, so I'm not sure if there was a part of the inside of the handle that was pushing it down. It may have just been that. As simple as that. We'll see. Let's try again. Works fine. Look. Beautiful action. Everything's fine. Let's see. Put the screws in. And that's the moment of truth. As I said to you, it only takes one little tiny little farty thing to be out of line, and that trigger will wedge tight and cause absolute chaos by not releasing. I feel it's too tight already. What the heck is holding that back? It's. Do you know what? I can see where it's too tight as well. It's actually pressing on the bottom here. It's not the sides. It's something is jamming it onto the bottom of the handle, this end here. Oh. It's not these little wings here. Okay. So it could be those. There's all sorts of little things inside here that push the cables in certain ways. So I'm thinking if that's pushing down on a wire, it could be making that, forcing that to come forward. Dee, 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 dee. When that's tight, that is getting wedged there. I wonder what's causing that to do that. What is causing that to do that? Okay, so I'm going to release this little saddle, push more wire through, and hopefully that'll push the trigger back a little bit. There we go. Getting him in there. So what I've done is that cable there, I've pushed more of that in, just in case it was that was becoming a bit tight when it's clamped down. Literally, I've brought it forward, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch. See what I'm saying? The thing works fine. The electrical connections and everything are all working perfectly. It is just so tight inside here. Anything that puts any sort of pressure on this at all, when the case is screwed together, anything that touches this or puts it, just a millimeter out, causes the trigger to stick. Let's see if that does it. Come on, join in. No. Look, even when I'm just holding it tight, the trigger's sticking. Oh. Oh, no, it's free. No, it's sticking. As soon as that tightens up and it sticks. What a little pig. What the heck is going on? What the heck is going on? It's perfectly free, but the minute that goes on, it sticks.
Still busy?
Yeah, you okay?
Yeah. We'll just sort the baby out.
Okay, love. Where are you going?
Back in the house.
Oh.
Let me know if you finish.
Okay, love. It's bizarre. Something in here. It's hard for me to show you. Something in here is pressing that down. I don't know what it is. But it's literally pushing that trigger onto the bottom of there. Like no one's business. It's really pushing it down. Let's see. Let's see if I can wiggle it loose. Want to tighten it up a little bit because there's little grooves. See inside here, there's these little wings inside here. I'm not sure if one of those is not sitting on it right and it's pushing it through. It's pushing it, on top of it rather than it sitting inside of it. So I'm thinking what I'll do is I'm going to get it semi-tightened up and then see if I can get hold of it and just wiggle the trigger around and it'll sit properly inside this housing and that might free it up. Because there, absolutely perfect. Perfect there. Let's just see. Let's see. should be sitting higher up. Oh, well, that's working better. What's on there? Ah, aha, aha. There we go. Here we go. Let's just see now. I think we might have done it. Don't hold your breath, like, but flipping heck. What a pain in the ass. I felt something click and it went loose. Hey! Hey! Right, here we go. Tight. 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 Little screw for the middle. Tight. Oh, look at that action. See? Ye of little faith. Now, let's try again. Let's see. Get this out of the way. Turn the 110 back on. Can you see how temperamental they are? Absolutely robust design, but inside that handle, it takes something to be out by the fraction, a millimetre out of place, and that trigger sticks. But now, sorry about the noise. Literally a fraction out of place, and it sticks. But now it's fine. It's not sticking. Look, turn that off so you have to listen to the whisk. But look, perfect. Oh, thank God that's over. Kirk's got a sticky trigger. He's flipping damn right he has. Anyway. So what time is it? 10 o'clock. All right, I've got half an hour. We'll do some comments. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. That's sorted. I'm going to transfer everything into the office and we can have a little chat. So just bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to unplug you from there and take you in there and we'll be set up again. Just give me 1 sec. All right. The battery on this laptop should be fine. If I take that and that and the microphone, come on. Oh, sick. There's a reason why people have assistants and all that when they're doing this sort of stuff. There we go. Nice. Look what's happening, right? Look, wires are sticking around the end of this. There we go. you all still with me? Beady, get me chair. One second. That's finished. Oh, right. Oh, wait there a second. You know I've got a toilet in here, but it's not very nice to look at, so just give us a sec. I'll just pull that down. That's far better, isn't it, to look at? Oh, gentlemen, well, I'll be honest with you, that was getting quite emotional because you were about to see me rip the fucking handle clean off the thing. I was trying to keep me cool, but we got there in the end, didn't we? Oh, do you know what I've left with there? 1 second. I've left my mouse, haven't I? I've left my flipping mouse in there so I can scroll down. We're back again. Are we still here or not? Any second now. There we go. I'm back again. Sorry about that. Sorry. Do one thing, press one button, and everything just goes fucking Pete Tong. Thank you for your patience. Now, let me get organised 1 second. The main important part. Let's just. Right. Okay. Comments section. Right. If you've commented before this, I'm just going to start here. So if you've got a question or a comment that you want reading out, then you're going to have to just type it again. But otherwise, I'm going to start here. King Corso 450. Surely you'll get a freebie or a bit of promotion. These companies know you're well watched. Yeah, to be fair, the likes of Refina are an absolutely amazing company. The guys that make them whisks, they are happy to give me stuff on a sort of quarterly basis. And what I say is, I've got everything I need. I actually don't need more stuff. So it's okay with them. And I've asked them if it's all right, and they're good with it. Refiner are an amazing company. They let me give their stuff away. So not every single week, but once every 3 months, I can do a giveaway of a couple of £100 worth of stuff of Refiner gear. So we've just done a load of their premium brushes. Not the video that I've just done, but the one before. So the way I'm working it is, the way that I think it's a good way to do it is, I ask a question in every video that I release. Not lives, doesn't work on the lives. Right? You can't just give everything away permanently. Fucking run out of money. But when I do a video and I release it once a week, then I ask a question somewhere in the video. Now, it's not a hard question. It's just for your opinion. Okay, you just give your opinion. And like the first person or the first 3 people or the first 5 people, whatever I've got at the time, the first people to answer the question, I'll just send stuff out to. So Refiner, these guys, I give away 5 of their premium brushes. So the people that won that should be receiving them now or in the next day or so. They should be landing shortly. So yeah, I don't need more stuff. I don't need anything off these companies because I've got everything I need to do my job. But if I can get you guys gifts, freebies, then it's just a bit of fun, isn't it? Just makes the videos a bit more fun for everyone if you get something out of it as well, just for answering the question, giving your opinion. So if you want to win stuff, then all you have to do is just make sure your notification bell's turned on. If your notification bell is turned on, then you will know the minute a video goes live. The minute it goes live, listen, the minute I ask a question, you answer it. I will see from my side who's answered the questions first, and you'll win. Simple as that. Micro cement, Spain. Motion sickness, yeah, sorry, we're settled down now. Out of plumb, magic touch, press the sub button exact time you fix your toy. Sound. I'm glad we actually got that sorted in the end, because I was starting to give up on myself as well. I was thinking, flipping heck. Alistair Booth, hi there, Kirk. Hope you and the family are good. Glad caught you. Keep missing you when you do your lives. On nights welding titanium aerospace parts. Flipping heck, fair play. I'll tell you what, if you can get the filings of that stuff out of there, or the offcuts, and get down the scrapyard, mate, you make a fortune. Then again, Alistair, you're probably making a fortune working there, so don't worry about it. Incognito, have you seen the Nella Black Edition spirit levels? They look amazing. I haven't, I'll be honest with you, I haven't as of yet. No doubt Ryan Hill will pop up on my Facebook at some point and show me them. If you don't know Ryan Hill, by the way, if you're on Facebook, he's worth friend requesting or getting hold of one way or another. Ryan Hill runs Plasterer's one-stop shop, and he's actually a really nice bloke, and he's sound. But Ryan was the guy that first introduced Nella plastering tools to the UK. Now, he brought in all the Superflexes, the Nella Superflex and all that, and I bought into it all, and I got the Superflexes, and I've since, I don't like using them now. Nothing against them. Loads of fellas still use the flexi trials. I personally don't get along with them no more. I did at the start. I've gone a different direction. But Ryan is still a top bloke, by the way. So if you need any stuff, any flexi trials and that sort of stuff, feel free to get in touch with Ryan. He's a top guy. Roy Dickinson, nice one, Kurt. Cheers, Roy. Ivan Prico. I hope I've said your name right, Ivan, or Ivan. Ivan, I'm sure it's Ivan. Kirk, I've just started to price my own jobs and priced 400 for 2 ceilings and 4 walls and got turned down. Do you think that is too much? Because that's what they said. No, don't think it's too much at all, mate. I think it's more, what you'll find is different. You're going to get different types of customers. So depending on who you're giving the price to, depends on whether they accept the price or not. And then also, when it comes down to being a good salesman, it depends how you put yourself across. So if you believe that it's a high price, then the customers will read that on your face. It's sort of like if you ever try and tell a fib to your missus, if you try and tell your missus a little porky that the reason you're in the pub is for something else, and she can just see straight through your face, she knows you're lying. That's sort of a similar situation when you go and price a job. If you think put a high price in, but you're not sure if it's too much, you think it's you're taking liberties, the customers will pick up on that. They will feel that it's just not quite right. It feels expensive. Whereas when you get used to pricing jobs and you can just sort of price what you believe you're worth, then it feels more natural, But again, like I said to you, I do think that there's different types of customers. So for instance, I know my target customer base. I know who I want to work for as a plasterer. I personally want to work for women, okay? Because women are the homemakers. So this might seem bizarre, and it might seem sexist, but let me tell you now, fellas don't care about plastering, okay? Most blokes do not give a monkeys if there's a crack in the hallway ceiling. They don't care, okay? They just don't look up. They're coming from work, they go straight to the kitchen, they do what they're doing, okay? It's the women that are homemakers. There's always an exception to the rule, but this is what I know. It's the women that are the homemakers. It's the women that want the house nice. Most single blokes will be happy living in a flipping bedsit, going to Thailand 3 or 4 times a year. Okay, it's usually the woman that wants the gorgeous show house. So you want to target women, and also you're looking to try and win jobs with people that are like 40, 50, 60 years of age. Again, there's always exceptions to the rule, but you'll find that women that are in the 20s They're the ones that want the gorgeous house, but they've got kids that eat money. They've got mortgages that eat money. You know, sort of my parents' generation, they're like in the 60s. My mum, for instance, wants a gorgeous show house. My mum wants it perfect. She's not so much bothered about the price because she's worked her whole life. She's got a savings. She's got a pension kicking in soon. She's inherited money. You know, they've had cowboys in the past. Me and my brother have left home. So there's loads of spare cash. There's, you know, and they don't want to mess around with cheap, bodgy jobs. They want it mint and they don't mind paying for it. So that's the sort of client that you want, people that want a top job and don't mind paying for it. Just my experience from working for that many different people, I've just sort of figured out if I'm going to get messed around by a customer and they try and chip you down and all this, it's usually younger people because, they've got a little bit of cash, but they might want to go on holiday. They want to treat the kids and this and, so they end up, as you go along in your career, you get pay rises all the way through. And in the end, you end up like 60, you're on top money, but you've got no expenses. But the people that need the money are the people starting out. It's an unfair world. It's not right, but it's just how it is. So anyway, let's move on. Let's move on with the next question. King Corso 400, well, cheap. They probably think you're crap, but being polite. Yeah, that could potentially be it. Like I say, it all depends how you come across. Just want to say thanks to Hendrix as well, by the way. That's just flashed up. Hendrix, you're an absolute gentleman, mate. Thank you very much for the tip. Little drink for you, mate. I'm a chippy, but running my own jobs. I find all the info I can find, absorb. It's good knowledge. Keep it up, pal. Brighton, UK. You're an absolute gentleman. Thank you very much for the pint, mate. I very much appreciate it. May you be welcome. Good work. Big love from Norwich. Top man. John Mellor, evening Kirk. Evening chat. How are we finding the gear lately? Had a few bad bags of bonding and also both multi and board finish seems to be getting worse all the while. So this is interesting, because the insight that I have got now on the stuff that is out there is immense. Because I sell pink SBR, we get people any little issues with plaster, even though because the plastering onto our pink SBR, if they have any issues, they get in touch with us. So we get sort of a broad sort of scope of what's going on all over the country, which is interesting for me because I've never been in this position before. So now I sort of got my finger right on the pulse. So, for instance, this is something that's been occurring quite a lot lately. I've been getting lots of people coming on to us saying, I've used your pink SBR and the stuff's sliding around on the wall. When we're applying the plaster, it's slipping on the wall a little bit when we flatten it in. Okay. So I'm like, well, I skim it all the time and I don't have this problem. I'm using board finish. So I've asked them what plaster are you using? Multi-finish. Ah, okay. That's interesting. Have you tried board finish? Because I'm using the same batch number, the same product that you're skimming over is exactly what I'm using. I'm using my own stuff. I'm using pink SBR myself, but I'm not having any problems. So all I can think of is maybe the plaster is not very, the batch of plaster you're using maybe is at fault. And then somebody else messages, and it's multi-finish, and somebody else messages. So in the end, people start messaging me saying, Kirk, I've used your product for the first time, but the plaster's slipping. And I'm saying to them, stop using multi-finish, use board finish. And they said, how do you know I'm using multi-finish? I'm like, because the only people having problems are using multi-finish. And then I've had people saying, oh, I'm getting a smell of like ammonia, like cat piss. So yes, multi-finish, correct. Yeah, okay. Use board finish, problem solved. So it's interesting because I know from the people that get in contact with us that there's bad multi-finish going around at the minute. Now, I've actually been and bought multi-finish, and we've run tests on it at our factory, but it's been fine. So it's not like it's all multi-finish, but you've got to remember there's different mines, there's different factories putting finishing plaster out. So all I can narrow it down to is there's one factory of British gypsum at the minute that is putting out a bad batch of multi-finish that ultimately smells of ammonia and slides around on the plaster, because my mate who works on building sites has specifically told me he's not using any SBR, he's skimming on plasterboards with multi-finish, and the stuff is tearing off when he's giving it the flattening. As he's flattening in on neat plasterboard, the stuff's curling off, it's sticking to his trowel and dragging off the plasterboard, which is exactly what's happening with people using it going over the pink SBR. So it's quite interesting now, because I get reports, if that makes sense, from all over the country. So yes, I have found that there's problems with the plaster, although people tend to think it's with the SBR, but then obviously when they convert to board finish, the problems go away. So yeah, I haven't personally experienced any of it though, unfortunately. I wish I had, so I could, know exactly what was going on, but here we are. Michael spent free shit is good. If you want free stuff, then all you have to do is make sure you answer the question in answer the questions first in the videos, and I'll send you free stuff. Ivan Preco Kirk, how your bonding be mixed bags today? We are finding date, setting the bucket after 15 minutes. Yeah, okay, so sorry, Ivan. I'm just going to convert your message into a little bit easier English. I know, obviously, your English is good, but I'm going to make it a little bit better for you. So what you're basically saying is, Kirk, how's your bonding? You've mixed a couple of bags up today, and it's set in the bucket after 15 minutes. I personally, Ivan, don't use a great deal of bonding, only bits here and there. So I haven't personally noticed anything with the bonding. In fact, the last video I did, we used a bit of bonding in that video, and it seemed to hang around for quite a while. So I haven't struggled with that, mate, at the minute. But it does happen sometimes. You get crap bags. Michael Spent, I bought a speed skim off him 8 years ago. He posted to France. I'm sure you're talking about Ryan Hill, which it wouldn't surprise me. He would do stuff like that. He's a top guy, Ryan, to be fair. John Irvin, thanks for all your content. 4 weeks binge watching, then got set up and plastering my kitchen to a little bit and went in neat. Oh, sorry, take a little bit and went in neat. Chuffed to bits with the finish. Was absolutely knackered. Yeah, I know the feeling, mate. But spot on. Thanks for the comments. Out of plumb, 2 ceilings were 2 meters squared and 4 walls were elsewhere for the cardboard box. Is a bit on the high side. Okay. 2 ceilings were 2 meters squared and 4 walls were squared. 400 quid for the cardboard box on the tight side. How much did he say he charged it again? Let's just, where was his price? What did he say? 400 quid. Yeah, 400 quid for, okay. Well, look, the thing is, here's how I look at it. It's a day's work, no matter what it is. He's got to go there and have 2 mixes of plaster for, 2 ceilings and 4 walls. It's going to be at least a day's work. So, most tradesmen, I'd imagine, are on anywhere from 2 to 350, 400 pound a day. I don't know. It's different up and down the country. So 400 quid with the materials, I wouldn't say that's extremely expensive. Could you get it done cheaper? Yeah, but I don't know. I wouldn't say he's trying to rip you off. Could you get it done cheaper? Potentially, but depends. Depends whether, if it's a big issue, if money, is very tight and you're trying to get the cheapest job possible, and fair enough. RLJB. How you doing, mate? How's life? How's everything? Sound. Life for me at the minute is fairly not stressful, but I've got quite a bit on. So I've got my operation on my knee, which is coming up on the 19th, because 2 years ago I snapped my ACL doing jiu-jitsu. So I'm usually not a big fat bastard like I am now. I'm usually fairly fit, and I've boxed for years. And what happened was my little lad was born, and I took 6 months out from training because I just wanted to. We've got 3 daughters. My missus is busy, we've got horses and all sorts of stuff going on. So I took 6 months when the baby was newborn just to help around the house with me not going out, 3 nights a week training, just to help out. And basically I stayed in, ate takeaways, drank beer, and got fatter and fatter and fatter. Nowhere near what I am now, but put weight on. And then I thought to myself, right, after 6 months, okay, I'm going to start training again. Rather than going back boxing, which for me now is very boring because I've done it for years and years and years, I thought I'll try something new. I'll go to jiu-jitsu and get fit there and, get myself back in shape. I'll just try something different. Anyway, 4 sessions of jiu-jitsu and I managed to snap my ACL in my knee, which basically then stopped all training. I didn't know I'd snapped the ACL. I thought I just hurt my knee and I thought I'd let it get better. So a year of leaving it, not doing anything on it because it was just painful for a year. And it's not painful now, but I can't squat down because my knee collapses. So if I crouch down into like the if you're gonna squat down, I'll just fall backwards because the leg will just give way. So then I went to the doctors with it and the specialist and blah blah blah. It goes on, you know the deal, don't you? Go for the NHS system, and they've said, yeah, scanned it. You need to have an operation, and that's took almost a year. And then they've been phoning me. Once you get past the doctors and you get into the hospital, then it's fast. It's just getting there that's the slow bit. Since I've been into the hospital, them guys, they're phoning me like every week. They're like, Kirk, there's a space. We can fit you in next week for your operation. Do you want to come in? I'm like, no, I'm self-employed. I've got commitments. I've got jobs booked in that I've got to do for people because they've got kitchens getting fitted and all sorts of stuff. I've got to do the jobs. So I said to him, listen, do me in December. If you've got any space in December, do me then, because I know I'm going to be off for maybe a month without working. I can be off over Christmas, and January is usually quite slow in the building game. So fit me in December. So that's when it is, the 19th. Now, I try to wind work down, but the amount of things I've got to try and squeeze in the next couple of weeks, it's just unreal. So I've got loads of work to squeeze in, and then I've got sponsorships. I've got 5 sponsorship things with videos that I need to try and squeeze in, which is a nightmare, to be fair. Trying to get anyway. Yeah, it is what it is. That's where I'm up to. Chaos, organized chaos. Craig Meadow. Now I know that I'm sad. I've just worked, listened, not watched to you fix a mixer. It's not sad. I watch stuff like this on YouTube all the time. So here's the interesting thing, fellas. Right, people say to me all the time, "Oh, Smooth has done a video on this. Have you seen it? He did this? He said this and this. Do you agree or do you disagree?" Or Plastering for Beginners has just said this on his video. I'm like, guys, genuinely, I don't watch plastering videos because I've done me wrong. I do watch other guys now and then, but for me, I'm plastering all day. I used to come home and watch Kirk Giordana on YouTube, right? I used to watch the original Kirk do all the plastering in America. But now, because I make my own videos, by the time I've plastered all day, talked to people about plastering, come home and made videos on plastering, the last thing I want to do is watch other people plastering. I'm basically sick of it by the time I finish work. So I watch stuff on YouTube. I watch a channel called AVE, someone told me what that stood for, but basically it's a Canadian fella, and he fixes tools in his workshop. He just takes them apart, fixes them, whatever else, and I enjoy watching it. So I actually do watch people doing what I've just done. Only he makes it look easy, whereas I make it look difficult. So, but to be fair, he edits the videos; he doesn't do them live. So you just see me do that live. And if I was going to edit the video, I would have cut all that crap out in the middle where it didn't work and just made it me take it apart, put it back together, boom, fixed, done, works perfect. And that's all you would have seen. But I try and stay true to you guys and show you the real struggles that I have to go through. You know, you see me tapping it with the hammer, didn't you? Right, them taps were just going to start getting fucking harder and harder. The more that didn't work, that was just going to start getting smashed. I'm only messing. I'm a patient person. You have to be when you've got 3 daughters and a wife. You have to have patience. You've got to just learn it. James had a phone. My whisk would have been over the fence 73 minutes ago. Yeah. You're spot on, Jim. Hendrix, doesn't everyone use multi? I personally never use it. So now, don't get me wrong with this, guys. I tell you what, I'm going to explain something to you here, right? Because people get me wrong sometimes. When I say I never use multi, I have used multi hundreds of times, but I prefer board finish. Okay. Now, I will say in my videos that I only ever use board finish, but I don't mean that I will never ever use multi. If I turn up on a job and the customer's bought multi, I'll just use multi. Now, this is leading me on to something else that I wanted to say to you. When I make videos and put them online, I will show what I believe to be something different so that you've got something different to look at. Because the same old is just the same stuff. So it's not really that interesting. So when I make a video on something and I say, here's a way of doing it, I don't believe in my heart that that is the only way. So if I recommend something, I'm just showing you another way of doing it. I don't fully believe that this is the only way you should work. There is different ways. There's different ways of cutting plasterboards. There's different techniques for skimming. There's different types of sealer. Some fellas love blue grit. I personally never use it, but I have used it. But so when I use pink SBR, and then in another video you see me using blue grit, and then go, oh, I thought you only used pink SBR. I'm like, no, I do use other stuff. I do other things. It's people try and pigeonhole you and say, that's how he cuts his plasterboards. That's the only size. Like I've got a 14x4 inch carbon steel trowel. But in certain situations, I might go and get an 18-inch trowel for something. But then people are like shocked and they feel like I've sold out because I'm using that. It's like plastering. There's 20 different ways of doing everything. Anything you can think of doing, there's more ways of doing it. So what I try and do is make videos on ways that I feel aren't the usual way to give you other ideas, because I think to myself, if there's 5 ways of doing something and you know all 5 ways, then you're far better prepared to tackle anything, because you might go, well, my usual way is this, but that's not going to work in this situation. But I know this now, so I'll do it this way instead. That's my mindset on it. The more ways you know of doing something, the better. So I've showed ways of how to cut spotlights with a Stanley knife rather than a hold saw. And the amount of people that comment on the video and go, just go and buy a hole saw. I'm like, oh yeah, I never thought of that. I never considered that there's just a hole saw that makes the job easier. Of course, everybody in the world uses a hole saw, but if you turn up to a job and you haven't got a hole saw, you can do it this way. And you haven't got to drive off to screw fix for 2 hours and spend 20 quid on a hole saw. You can just do it with Stanley knife like that, dead quick. Anyway, I'm having a rant, but you get the gist. You understand what I'm trying to say, don't you? Michael Cement, €25 a bag for multi here. Wow. That's dear. Where we so John Meller, yeah, 100%. I've assessed 2 lads on site today for the MVQ, and they are 2 rooms where the finish delaminated off new boards. Mental. Yeah, there you go. So John's just confirmed it. The finish and plaster is delaminating off plasterboards. It's nice for me to keep seeing this confirmed, because when you're selling a product and people are getting in touch because they think that the product's at fault, and I'm telling them it's not the stuff, it's not the product, because I'm using it and I'm having no problems whatsoever. It's the plaster, but people always feel like you're fobbing them off, and I don't want to fob it. I don't want anybody to feel fobbed off, and that's why I always say to them, just go and get board finish and come back to me and tell me, so I know for a fact that you're okay. But it's nice when other people keep confirming it for me, and for everybody else, that I'm not just talking crap, and other people can see what's going on as well. James, I've just skimmed my first room. I had to do so much sanding after. Don't worry, mate. Just keep practicing. Keep going. You'll get there. Hi, Kirk. Do you think any plaster before painting must be sanded or painted? Can paint over if it's good. Do you think any plaster before painting? Okay. I know what you're trying to say. Do you have to do anything to plaster before you paint it? No. Matte paint, straight on, job done. I always go off. No, I'm not a decorator, so I'm not trying to give you decorating advice. And there might be 100 decorators that watch this video and go, Kirk's talking crap. But in my experience, I've watched what other painting companies have done on building sites for years. And every time I've seen the decorators in painting a house after it's been freshly plastered, them guys go in there with matte paint, and they might water the first coat down a little bit of water in the matte paint, so it soaks in better or something. I don't know. And that's it. They don't seal the walls. They don't sand the walls. They literally paint straight on the fresh plaster with matte paint, maybe water down a touch, and they're turning out, thousands of houses a week. So in my experience, I would say that's the best way to do it, because that's what the professional guys are doing week in, week out. So that's what I'll do, mate, if I was you. I personally don't paint anything, so I don't. I'm only repeating what I've seen. Daniel Bates, a lot of out-of-date bonding. Check the dates. Yeah, good shout. Game over. Which plaster to use for chases with no cavities, if not gypsum? Also, does the same apply for houses that have external insulation? Okay, so yeah, the external insulation, that's a new angle to look at it from. I've never thought of that. So you're not going to get penetrating moisture. So in theory, if you've got a solid 9-inch wall, but you've got external wall insulation, which stops penetrating moisture, as long as you've got a good damp-proof course to stop any rising damp, then you should be fine using gypsum plaster internally on the external walls. If you haven't got external wall insulation, then I would say the best way of doing it is gypsum plaster is going to soak moisture up like a sponge. So if you've got chases internally on a solid 9-inch wall, I would fill them with either British Gypsum dry coat. You can buy that from British Gypsum. I don't know where stocks it, but you can use that. You can use sand and cement with waterproofer. You can use lime plaster. All you don't want to do is use anything that's going to draw the moisture and hold on to it. So lime plaster will let it breathe, and sand and cement with waterproofer will seal it and not let moisture pass into it. So they're pretty much your options. There's probably some crazy other ways that you could do it, with membrane sort of packed in the chase first, but that's getting a bit wild. I wouldn't go down that route. Ross Thompson, anyone remember B&Q's version of multi-finish when you couldn't buy multi-finish in lockdown? They ended up selling at a 10p a bag. Yes, I remember it, mate. I never I never used much of it. What was it called? It was white, wasn't it? Make Good. Make Good with the firm that made it. I do remember it. Craig Meadow, I can't believe it's been 2 years since you did your knee. I know. Neither can I. But yeah. Oh no, we're there, Craig. No. So my son would have been about 6 months old when I did my knee. 6 or 7 months old, and he's now just turned 2. So I'm lying, actually. I'm glad you've said that, Craig. You've called me bullshit. He's just turned 2 last month, so it's about 18 months since I did my knee. Hendrix, I feel your pain, mate. I slipped off the second lift a few weeks back and broke 2 floating ribs. I've been holding my breath every day and will rest for 2 weeks after the 20th of December. Well, yeah. To be fair, I always find as well, guys, I don't know about you boys, but if I injure myself, I work the injury. I don't rest it as much. I find, like, for instance, if you have broken knuckles or I've broke my foot in the past or whatever, I find that sort of not whinging about it and trying to go dead light on it, but actually trying to push through the pain a little bit and work on it seems to make the thing fix faster because it gets dead hot. If you like when I hurt my foot, I just kept working and I'd feel the thing, it'd be red hot and it'd be in pain, but I feel like the blood rushing to it fixes it faster. Like if you tear a muscle and you let it repair slowly, it takes forever. But if you tear a muscle and you start working, even though it hurts in the morning, by the afternoon it's loosened up and you're okay. Next morning you've got to go through it all again. But I feel like it repairs faster because the blood's flowing to the thing, because you're using it. Craig Jollins, one last push and you get a month off. Yeah, can't wait. I get a month off from working for the public and instead have my missus trying to drive me to do the bathroom. Rafał Zdrowski. If that isn't a Polish name, I don't know what is. So, if you are Polish, Rafał, dzień dobry. Dzień dobry to you. Hi, Kirk. Brilliant channel and excellent work. I wondered if you have used Johnstone's render and how difficult can it be to apply on cement boards. I have no experience of plastering or rendering. Thanks. Johnstone's render. It's actually made by Eco Rend, but don't tell anyone I told you that. When I went to the factory, it's one of the white label products in there, so it'll be nice stuff to use. I've never personally used it, but I know the people that make it, and it's called Johnstone, so it's got my surname. It's probably I should inherit something off them at some point somewhere along the line because we're from the same family. Exploration UK or Do You Know versus Evil? Oh, Av. Okay, yeah, that's what Av means. Okay, AVA. That's the channel I like watching. You right, James. How much do you get your multi for, Kirk? I don't use multi, mate, but in my local builders merchants, I pay about £10-11 a bag for a bag of finish. It's about 10 a bag. That's what I work the costs out as. When I price a job up, I just assume now that a bag of finish is 10 quid. So that's what I price things up at. Hadley Jones, the Anglian Artex Busters ain't caught up for a while. I now upgraded new Vauxhall Movano, joined the lorries of plasterers. Lol. Still ain't found a big enough ceiling for you to come to Norfolk with us, but soon will. Got good pubs. I am looking forward to it. Get us a monster so it can come down. It's got to be big enough that it's going to pay for me to be able to come down and crash out in some 1-star flipping hostel or something for the night. I don't mind. I'll crash in any dingy hotel as long as I've had 10 pints. and a curry. Okay, I'll come and do it with you. The mist coat from Hendrix, yeah. James. You should do a plastering road trip around the UK for the YouTube video series. Yeah, it's good. It sounds good in theory, right? But do you think my missus, right, is going to let me loose? Do you think she's going to let me out the house to come and have beer with you lot all over the country? I might decide I like it and never come back. Rory Dickinson, good luck with the New York Kirk. Look after yourself and your health. I'm an AV subscriber too. He's a great vlogger just like you. Cheers, Roy. Thank you for the kind words. And yeah, I really enjoy his channel. It's something I watch him. I'll tell you another channel I watch. It's called Combat Crew. Now, it's nothing to do with fighting, but it's a Russian channel, Combat Crew. It's a Russian channel, and it's a Russian lad. And what he does is he operates heavy machinery, big excavators and tractors and that sort of stuff. And they get stuck in swamps and all sorts, and they just fix the vehicles on site. You know, like they'll snap the prop shaft in the flipping, you know, in the middle of a forest, and they're there, you know, they go off and they come back with the welding kit, and they just fix things on site, and it's all in Russian. I can't understand a single word they say, but it's quite mind numbing. I just sit there like that with a can of lager, like that, and I can just watch it for hours. It just sort of like resets my brain. So between that and AVE, that's what I watch on YouTube. Oliver Smith, 50-50 paint and water first coat. Piss coat, I call it, otherwise will flake off a dusty surface. Yeah, there you go. John Mellor, that dry coat is funny product. Can't use it where gypsum has been present before, as it blows straight off after a couple of days and leave a crack where it meets any gypsum. Used it on damp proofing. Yeah, it's just got to be used sort of straight onto the brick or blockwork. Code is, hi Kirk, have you ever thought about trying a Nella Premium steel trowel? Yeah, I've got one. I can't show it you. I think I've already given it away. I had one in there. I used the Nella Premium steel trowel, 16-inch by 5-inch, for quite a few years when they first come out, and it had the cork handle, and I actually wore all the cork off, and it was just a black plastic handle. Lovely trowel, quite heavy, quite solid. But I used to get wrist pains, so that's why I use the size trowel that I use now. Paddy Hall, can you remove my Artex in Cleethorpes? I'll buy you a chippy. Yeah, sound. When you say you'll buy me a chippy, do you mean the actual shop? Because then it's worth me coming down. If you actually buy me the chippy itself, then yeah. If you just thought about you're going to buy me a bag of chips, then no. Paul Mikanzowski, can I skim over cement board? Yes, you can. You can skim over cement board. Get some SBR, seal it with SBR the day before. Give it, when I say seal it with SBR, don't try and piss about with it and make the SBR go for miles. Give it one good, solid, thick coat of SBR the day before. Leave it till the next day to completely cure, and then skim it, and you'll be fine. Danish Hussein, what were your thoughts on Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul? If you watched it, I think it was fixed. It was 100% fixed. That fight was 100% fixed. I think Joe Rogan even spoke about this, that it was in Mike's contract that if he knocked Jake Paul out, he wouldn't get paid. So Mike, I like Mike Tyson, and I love his style of boxing. I don't really watch much professional boxing. I like the amateur boxing, but I do like watching Mike. But Mike now, basically, he doesn't care. He's just in it for the money, which is crap. Because do you know what? If Cus D'Amato was still alive now, that would have never happened, because Cus was a lover of the sport, whereas Mike is just getting paid. Mike's just in it to get paid now. Now, I love Mike Tyson. I think he's a flipping... I like the way he's very raw and open and honest. You know, he talks about his drug addiction, and he talks about... I like people like that are just, they wear the heart on the sleeve and they tell the truth. But I know for a fact that he let Jake Paul win that fight. I know for a fact he could have destroyed him, and he's just done it to get paid. I think maybe in the near future he might come out and say that. Whether he can get sued for that, I don't know. But I think Mike's a sort of fella, to tell the truth in the end. At the end of the day, it was an exhibition, wasn't it? It wasn't, wasn't a title fight. It was genuinely just an exhibition. So, but I do feel like he's sold out a little bit, in all honesty, which is sad. But another way of looking at it is, another thing that's crossed my mind is, if you watch Mike Tyson talk about Jake Paul before all this come about, Mike is a fan of Jake Paul. And Mike has mentioned a few times that this guy, Jake, is sort of bringing a lot of interest back to boxing from the UFC. And they're friends before all this started. Now, reading between the lines, let's just say now I had an opportunity to help an older friend. Let's just say, for instance, an old boy that I know of is running out of money and he's struggling a little bit. And can I find a way to make him money? Jake Paul potentially could have said to Mike, listen, I know your situation, Mike. I've got the power of social media. I can sell a stadium out. You can sell a stadium out. Me and you can make flipping millions and millions here. And I want to make sure you're okay. Let's do a fight, and you can take a big purse of it and look after your family. But the deal is, I have to win, Who knows? John Mallett, would you ever go back to site? No. I'm not even reading the rest of the comment. No. John Mallett, would you ever go back to site bashing Kirk, or are you going to stay doing what you're doing? I will never go back to doing site work ever again, mate. Ever. Never. But I'm not slagging site work off. Okay, so here's the thing, right? When you are on the building sites, which I did for years, and I loved it, and I used to be not fat, I used to be fit and would smash out hundreds of meters. I used to basically put like 9 or 10 bags on every single day, 3 hits, 3 and a bit bags every single gauge. That's just how we worked. We were like machines, and we just bash out meters and meters and meters. Great, we earned good money. I think every young plasterer that starts out should do site work, because then they understand how to work fast and efficient, because you've got to be fast and efficient while you'll make no money. So for any up-and-coming plasterers, I would highly recommend, go and do 5 years on a building site. So you get your speed, and you understand about efficiency. You sort of get out the van in the morning, and you're like, everyone knows what they're going to do fast. You get water, you get powder, I'll get the scrim on. Let's get the gauge on instantly. You're efficient. But as you get a bit older, you start thinking to yourself, well, I'm going like the clappers, and I'm making somebody else loads of money here. Whereas once you've honed your skills, and then you work on your own personal self, some fellas aren't cut out for this. Some fellas can't deal with customers. They just don't like it. Maybe they swear too much. Maybe, they just haven't got the mindset for it. But I'm quite a chatty guy, so I find it easy dealing with customers. So for me, I would rather go and speak to Mrs. Jones, reassure her, put her mind at rest, take care of the furniture, put the dust sheets down, and get paid twice as much as what I did on site for doing her living room ceiling, you know? So when I was on site, it was like £2.50 a metre. So if you wanted to earn 250 quid, you'd have to skim 100 square metres. That's quite a lot of skimming to get done in a day. That's quite a lot of work, you know. That's 3 mixes. That's 9, 10 bags of plaster to earn 250 quid. Okay. Now I can go and do someone's living room ceiling for 3, 4, 5, 600 quid. So and use 2, 3, 4 bags of plaster. But you've got to deal with the customer. So the swings and roundabouts. You've got to go and price the job. You might lose it. You might have wasted your time. You've got to go and move the furniture and dust sheet. You've got to make sure that Mrs. Jones feels comfortable, and you've got to make sure that there's no one's, walking footprints up and down outside the house. You've got to clean everything up. So it's a whole different ball game, but it's a slower pace, and there's a bigger financial reward. But the other part of it is you're not just a plasterer. 50% of your job is you're a salesman and you're doing customer service. Whereas on site, you're just a plasterer. Whereas when you do domestic work, you are a salesman now. You're in charge of marketing, advertising, sales, flipping customer care. There's all that added onto it. And if you've got the mind for doing that, if you can handle all that extra crap that you've got to do, then you can make more money doing private work. So I personally wouldn't want to go and work as hard as what I used to now, especially with my knee and my fat belly and all the rest of it. So, Paul Smith. Hi, Kirk. What's a good formula to price a patch job? Just 2 square meters. Take me longer to travel than actually do the job. Great channel, mate. Just have a minimum price. Just tell your customers on the phone that you have got a minimum price of X amount and you aren't going to come and do any jobs. It doesn't matter if it's a little hole, 1 square inch. It's not worth you traveling to go and do the job for less than X amount. Now, your minimum price will be different to my minimum price because it depends on what your average wage is for, whatever. So, for an example, I think a very, very fair minimum price would be 100 quid. A very fair minimum price for anybody, any tradesman, is £100, I would say. It's not worth any man getting in his van after answering the phone and driving somewhere and sheeting up and getting everything, all his tools out and doing the job and cleaning it all up and then going again to walk away with less than £100. So I would say you just tell people on the phone when they phone and say, I've got a little patch. Well, look, if I'm coming to do your job, it's going to be a minimum of £100, just so you know. And what you'll probably find is most people say, yeah, that's fair enough, come and do it. And then it's worth doing, isn't it? Because what's the point in going somewhere for 30 quid? Now, I'm saying that, but I sometimes do stuff for free. Well, quite a lot of times I do stuff for free. But if you price your other jobs accordingly, if you price well, if you're not cheap and you price a fair price for doing a good quality job, and you've earned 600 quid that day, yesterday, then you can afford to help somebody out the day after, can't you? Because there's sort of profit built up in your business. So if you come across a widow or a single mum, even the Bible says you should do this, by the way. If you're religious, you should look after widows and fatherless children. So if you come across somebody that's in need, then you could potentially take care of them. If you come across, perhaps an old lady and a ceiling's collapsed and she's got no money and her husband's passed away, then you can say, look, I'll sort it for you. Don't even worry about it. I'll just do it for you. And you go away and you feel you feel $1 million because you've been able to do it for them, and and they really appreciate it. But you can't do that if you're pricing every job for peanuts. You've got to make profit so you can afford to help people out. Now, I'm in a fortunate position now because as well as being, not too cheap and being fairly good at pricing jobs and earning okay money without ripping people off. I earn decent money, but I also get paid off YouTube, so I can do more and more free jobs, which ultimately makes me feel good because I can help more people. But be careful how much you advertise it, because you'd be surprised how many people all of a sudden are desperate and haven't got no money. You know, you've got to use a bit of nous, and I'll decide who I help, not them. You know, if they're asking me for free work, no, I'll decide if I'm going to do it for free, not you. Kev Bob, hi Kirk. After watching your channel, it gave me more confidence and ended up skimming half a house for my workplace. Cheers, pal. Keep it up. Top man. Thank you for the comment. Appreciate it. Hadley Jones. Hadley, I don't know if you've retracted the message, but I haven't, but the message is gone, whatever you typed. So sometimes YouTube does that. If you said a swear word, if you say swear words, YouTube takes them away. So I don't know what you've typed. You may have took it away, but I haven't. That's another thing with my lives, by the way. I don't have any moderators because I'm not asked. You can say what you want. We can talk about whatever you want. I don't really give a monkeys. We can just talk about anything. And I'm not asked. If you want to insult me, I'm not going to filter the comments out. I've got thick enough skin. We can go to war if you want, if you're a troll. Not you, Hadley. I know your sound, but what I'm saying is, you know, there's no one moderating my chat. You can write whatever you want in there, but YouTube will remove anything with obscene language in it. For some reason, they just do that. So, Crouching TG. Hi, Kirk. Planning on putting 4mm XPS board on all walls all over my kitchen to create a moisture barrier. Is it fine to plaster over, and is it worth doing? Thanks. I personally wouldn't use that method, mate. I'm not saying it won't work, but I've not done that myself, so I wouldn't recommend it because it's not something I've personally done. So if you've got walls that you've got penetrating damp, I would be more inclined. It's only going to be 2 or 3 walls because you know, your kitchen's going to be sort of have internal walls on it that lead to other rooms. So it's only be a few walls that are on the exterior of the property where you could potentially get penetrating damp. So I would be more inclined to take the plaster off, and if you felt more confident sticking boards on than floating the walls, what you could do is take any plaster off the walls and then render it with a good thick coat of sand and cement with a waterproof additive. Doesn't have to be neat, just get it on the wall. Once that's set and dried out, then you could stick plasterboard on there. And then you've got a waterproof barrier before you plasterboard. That might be easier and cheaper. And then you haven't got to try and skim over XPS boards, which I actually don't even know what they are, but I think what you're talking about is like a tile board where it's like cement with fibers, like a scrim in it, and then some foam, and then more cement with fibers and scrim. That's what I think you're talking about, but I don't know. I could be wrong. But that's what I'll do. Sand and cement, waterproofer, dry line it, or float it nicely and skim your floating work. Coders, do you think meter rates should go up, Kirk, on site? The sites where I live are between £3 and £5. Yeah, everyone wants more money, but what will happen is, unfortunately, the problem you're going to get with increasing prices on site, which, yes, I do think they should go up, but on the other side of the knife edge, because it's a double-sworded knife, what you will get is lads that are doing a crap standard, although they're getting more money, won't start doing a nicer job because they can afford to take more time. Instead, they will continue with the crap standard and just make loads more money. So that's the sad thing about plastering. The sad thing is there's guys out there that will do a lovely job And if they earned more money, would take more time and more pride in the work because they could afford to do a nicer job. But there's also lads out there that will do a shit job, a crap job, as fast as possible to make as much money as possible. And if you offer them more money, they won't improve the standards. They will just rinse more money. And then you've got people that are paying £5 a square metre for a crap job, but a plasterer earning £3 a week. So, yes, I think the prices should go up, but you've also got to have somebody quality controlling the standards, because that's the problem. What I would like to see, but I don't think it'll ever happen, is prices go up so that firms can afford to take on the lads full time. So rather than, because what happens is there's plasterers, thousands plasterers up and down the country that are classed as self-employed, but they're fully dependent on a subcontracting firm. So it was like I worked for a firm called RWW. Okay. Now I was a subcontractor to them. I was classed as self-employed, but they give me all of the work. And if they had no work, I had nothing. So I was basically employed by them, but without the benefits of having sick pay, holiday pay, and a pension. Okay. So you're just getting ripped off. What I would like to see is, and they said they couldn't afford, that firm couldn't afford to take you on cards in because there wasn't enough money from the house builder. I would like to see prices go up so that firms can afford to take lads on and pay them sick pay, holiday pay, and a pension and a decent wage. And then lads can afford to have a proper apprenticeship and the skill level would be raised in the industry. That's what I'd like to see. The skill, nice work, everyone taking pride in the job, and they're getting paid a salary, so they're okay. They're not panicking, they're not being lazy, they're working, but they're getting paid a decent rate, and everyone's doing well. It won't happen, unfortunately. It won't happen, I don't think. But John Mellor, 100% great advice for young spreads. Mistakes on sites are easier to fix than in tenanted works because your reputation could be in tatters after one bad job domestically. Efficiency is key to plastering. 100%, mate. Spot on. What's going on? Oh, here we go. Right. Omar, any thoughts on power floats ever used? Yeah, I've used them. I do like them. I haven't currently got one, but I was talking about this today, and I think the next job that I do will be a good shout to get one. I think they're great, to be fair. Nothing against power floats at all. John Mellor, Kirk, is your email address in a link? I'll send you some interesting info over the weekend, which might help viewers for site rules for 2025 onwards. Yes, my email address. Go to me channel description. When you click on my YouTube channel, in the description, there's my email address is there, mate. You can send me stuff on there. Cheers, John, and I look forward to seeing what you send over, mate. Roy Dickinson, thanks for the content tonight, Kirk. It's been a pleasure. Look forward to the next one. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to doing that again. That whisk was a pain in the ass, and I wasn't getting flustered, but I was thinking, there's 100 people watching me struggle with this bitch. This is stressing me out. I was starting to get a little bit emotional, but we got there in the end. Flipping it. But cheers, mate, anyway. Coders, I'm 19 and work for a local company. I do a lot of domestic side of things and damp work. I'm not a huge fan of site work. You still recommend me to go on site or to stick where I am? I would say, right, Coders, if you're 19 now, stay put, okay? So I don't know if you're out your time yet. If you started at 15, maybe you might be out of time. But whatever you're doing, stay doing what you're doing now, okay? And learn everything that you can whilst you're there, okay? So if you're doing damp-proof work, fully grasp the whole spectrum of what you are doing day to day in the company you're with. Once you've mastered everything, okay, and you're sort of ready to sort of be able to go off by yourself, I would then whilst you're still young. Do it in your 20s, mate. Don't wait till you're in your 30s. Whilst you're in your 20s, maybe get to 25, go and do a couple of years on site. Okay. Nothing can increase your speed and your efficiency as much as working on a building site on price work. Go and do that and make a good couple of quid on site, because you will get so much faster. There's no other encouragement to working faster than working price per square meter on a building site. So go. But stay where you are for now. Learn as much as you can. Then go on site. Do that for a couple of years, and then go back to doing domestic work. And then domestic work will be a pleasure to do. You will enjoy it. Domestic work won't feel hard to do. It'll be easy, because the site work will have made you so much faster and efficient. But don't leave where you are now, because what you're doing now is specialist. It's classed as like specialist work, doing damp proofing and stuff. So fully learn all that. Don't jib that off to go and be a site monkey yet. Okay. Learn everything first. And then in the future, you've still got all that knowledge for when you're on your own. All right, mate. Rusty, Rusty, we'll just call you Rusty. All right. Hopefully, you are not a ginger lady. Rusty. Anyone noticed red car light has gone rubbish recently? Rusty, you must be in Ireland, because we don't have red car light over here, mate. So I'm assuming you are just across the water a little bit. So I wouldn't know, because I haven't used it. Omar, any brand recommendations on the power floats? The only one that I've used is a refiner, so that's what I'd recommend. Crouching, welcome to behind the scenes, mate. I'm going to do a few more little membership videos, so there'll be some interesting content of me, day-to-day crap, coming up for you, mate. So cheers for joining the membership. Hugh Jarsol. He got me. Yeah, that was quite clever, that. Hugh Jarsol. Hugh Jarsol. Can you use hardwall or multi-finish straight over internal brick fireplace, or NHL 3.5 lime sharp sand instead? Thanks. So it just depends, mate. It depends on what the situation is. So yes, you can use hardwall and multi-finish over an internal brick. That's fine. But if the brick is going to get damp, then no. If the brick is on an external solid wall with no cavity, then don't do it. If there's a chance of rising damp, don't do it. If you're going to fit a fire in there and the temperature is going to go above 50 degrees Celsius, don't do it. Use lime. But if all those things aren't going to happen, if it's a decorative fireplace and there's no presence, there's no moisture present, then hard wall and finish will be fine, and it's easy to use because it's what you're used to using all day in, day out. Lime is far superior. It's the best product for plastering. Damp isn't an issue, mold isn't an issue, heat isn't an issue. Lime is just the best stuff. But get it in your eye and you're going to hospital, and it's different to what you're used to using, so it takes a little bit more, getting used to learning a new skill. I'd do it if you've got the option. I'd use the lime anyway, just to get something different, than what you're normally doing. Valgany 3, when you're back in Wales for your holidays. My next holiday, I'm looking, in fact, I should have booked it tonight. I'm probably going to book it when I get off this live. I'm going to Tenerife next week. That's it. My mother and father-in-law are out there, and I'm going for a pint with my father-in-law next week. So I'm not going to be in Wales. I'm going to Tenerife next week. Wales, maybe after Christmas now. Coders, would you do a collaboration with the ginger spread man Kirk? I don't know him. I would do. I'll work with anyone. I don't know the ginger spread man personally. If he wanted to do something and he was up for it, then I would do. Porky still slaving away. You're the grafter. Fair dues. Right, guys, listen, I'll be honest with you. I'm absolutely busting for the piss. So, just behind that curtain there is my toilet. I would end the live stream, but I've still got some more beer left. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do, right? Feel free to leave if you want. I'm going to mute the microphone so you can't hear me. I'm going to be behind there for the piss. If you're still here when I come back, then sound. We'll finish this can and we'll call it a night. And if you're gone, good night, God bless. Lovely to see you. All right? I'm going to mute the mic now and go for a lash. There's more people than what there was when I went in. I thought, if that was me, I would have just gone, right, he's gone for the piss. Yeah, I'm going. No. Instead, there's more people now. Oh, flipping heck. Omar, good night, take care. Yeah, see you, Omar. Take it easy, mate. Callum King, evening, Kirk. Hope all's well, mate. Just home doing a 30 square metre Artex ceiling on my own, mate. Mate let me down. Absolutely cream crackered. Yes, I can imagine. Think of the money, mate. You get to keep all the wonga for yourself. Porky, and poof, he's disappeared. Absolutely cracking magic trick. Oh, gentlemen, what an evening. It feels like I've literally just finished work and it's 11:30. Oh. Tomorrow, I'm going to go and do a job for a lady who's in her late 70s, early 80s. It's a lovely woman. I'm not going to charge her either. I'm going to just go and do the job for her. So I know this lady because her son had a bit of land and he used to put competitions on for the kids on the horses. So my kids, we would take the horses up there and he had like not a farm, but he had a little bit of land with some stables on it, and he'd do all these competitions. And you know, when in the horse sort of world, there's guys that have got big places and they charge you loads of money and you go and compete there, and it's all basically about them making a load of money, right? That's it. But Alex, he was a lovely fella, and he would put shows on, and it would be dead cheap, you know. Kids, any kids could go there. If they had a pony or a horse, they could go and compete. Now, where's the beautiful thing about Alex, right? This fella, if he knew of kids that had a pony, but perhaps they didn't have a horse trailer or they couldn't afford to get the transport there, he would go out of his way with his own trailer. He would go and find the kids' horse, and he would fetch it along for them, let them compete at his show. He'd make sure they win a little medal or something, and he'd take the horse back for them. He was a salt of the earth, lovely, lovely man. And I had loads of time for him. And unfortunately, during COVID, he found out that he had cancer and he died. And I went to his funeral, and you know, the most heartbreaking thing was his little kids. I feel flipping teared up saying it. His little kids getting up on the podium in the church, saying goodbye to the dad, you know, and I'm talking like little tots, man. They're like flipping 7, 8 years old, saying, "Dad, I hope I make you proud. I know you're watching me and all this." And it flipping cuts me up thinking about it because he was a lovely, lovely guy. Anyway, his mum, Teresa, she was always present at these horse shows, and she was a school teacher, and she's one of those old school teachers that is like, you know, you just know she's got a good heart. She was just a good, kind woman. And when Alex passed away, her son, I was giving her a hug outside the funeral afterwards, and she said to me, you know, keep in touch, Kirk, because I'm gonna need a man that can help me because she's not gonna. Her husband died, and now her son's passed away. So anyway, she's got a little plastering job that needs doing. Now she's got plenty of money, but it's not even about that. I'm just gonna go and do the job for her tomorrow. So she's had some copper pipes moved, and I'm gonna go and just go and fix it up for her. But yeah, it gets me that flipping horrible situation. Why is it I can't sort of get my head round? The best people in life seem to get the crappiest deal, you know? Really good people, kind, good hearted people seem to get shit on the most. So, anyway, that's what I'm doing tomorrow. Top event. Do you recommend My Builder or Checker Trade? Started using My Builder a couple of months ago, but I have spent a lot of money for the jobs I didn't get. No, I would steer clear of them 100%. So let me tell you, right, these Checker Trade, My Builder, all these, right, these are what customers use as price comparison sites. So if you're a sort of a tight-fisted customer, let's just say, in one way or another, you know, you really want the cheapest job, that's all you're interested in, then you can go on these sites like My Builder and you can get 3 quotes for your job and you can pick the cheapest one, can't you? So they use it as a hassle-free price comparison website in a sense. But the problem is the tradesman has to pay to look at the job. So 3 of you are going to pay, or 5 of you are going to pay, but only one person can do the job. So straight away, the tradesman's at a loss. So not only are you going to potentially, you've got like a 1 in 3 or 1 in 5 chance of getting the job, which is not good anyway, but you're also competing for the job for customers that are shopping for price. So what I want to do is I would rather work for people that specifically want me to do the job. Okay, they're not bothered about the price. They just want you to do the job. They're the people you want to work for. So I wouldn't recommend. In fact, I would go as far as saying I hate these sites. I would never recommend anybody go on these sites. And hence, I've made a sales and marketing course, which you're more than welcome to join. It's £30 a month, where I show you how to generate leads from the likes of Google. When people do a Google search, plasterers near me, or whatever trade you're in, bricklayer, joiner, electrician, whatever. When people search that, Google will fire up results, not sponsored ones at the top. Whenever you search plasterers near me, Google's going to give you like 3 or 4 sponsored websites, right? No one clicks on them. Everyone scrolls past them. So don't pay for website hosting, Google ranking on website, because no one's interested. Everyone knows you've paid to be there, so it's bullshit. Okay. They're going to scroll a little bit down and it's going to give you a little map, and Google is going to recommend people in your area and their star rating for the reviews. So I can show you how to get ranked really high from Google. And I also show you how to get lots of work from the likes of Facebook, social media. A lot of guys make mistakes on there. They go on there and they sort of post a picture of the jobs and say, if you want a plasterer, call this number. It doesn't really work. People need to get to know you as a person. So there's specific types of social media posts that you can do. That's what I would focus my energy on more, is getting people to know you. If you want to help with that, I can help you. You can join my course, but I'm not trying to sell you. But I wouldn't recommend going on My Builder at all. Wrong type of customer. Yeah, you're paying for the jobs, which is a pain in the ass. I'll show you what I know, and then you'll have that knowledge, and you can go and do it yourself for the rest of your life, and you're not tied to anybody paying anybody. You know, you can just do it yourself. Hugh Jarsel. I'm not even going to say it how you want me to pronounce it. Hugh Jarsel. The good always go early, mate. 100%. Something I've noticed. It's flipping. It's tough, man. It's flipping tough. Do you know what? I'm not really that much of an emotional guy. You know, if people die, that's life. You know, I'm gonna die. If I went tomorrow, then it is what it is. If I got a phone call tomorrow to say my dad's dead, I love the bones of my dad, but that's the circle of life. You know, you live, you die. End of. What hurts me is when someone dies but leaves young children that still need direction and help and guidance, you know. That is what hurts me, seeing that them little babies have been left without a dad. That hurts. So when I've got mates that are in the 60s and you know, things happen and they die, yeah, I'll go to the funeral. It is what it is. That's life. When you go to a funeral and there's little kids crying, that hurt. That flipping gets me going. That like I don't like it at all. Yeah, Porky, always take the good first. Seth, hi Kirk. I've done a bit of plastering with a firm. They've just showed me bits on the job. What is the best way to get trained up properly? I would go and see if you can get a start and work with another plasterer, with an experienced plasterer. That would be the best way. If you've learned bits, then you'd probably make somebody a very good apprentice starting fresh. Or if you're a bit beyond that, then perhaps team up with somebody that's very good. Then you can benefit them with the labor, but they can benefit you with the knowledge. That'll be a good shout. For instance, now, you know, for me personally, now I don't necessarily need anybody to work with me. But if somebody come along and said, Kirk, you know, I can help you, I'll do the mixing and I can plaster a couple of walls, then yeah, fine, okay, let's jump in together. And then you'd get the benefit of me being able to pass on any knowledge I've got, but also I've got the benefit of, you know, you'd be a slightly cheaper labour and you do all the mixing, the fetching and carrying, and you could also earn your wage by putting plaster on the wall as well. So, you know, it's going to be mutually beneficial, but that's how I would say you'd increase your knowledge. It's just by working alongside someone that's got a bit more knowledge than you. This is what I would do myself. So when there's certain things that I want to learn and get better at, I will literally just say to whatever, you know, if I wanted to get into more fibrous plastering, I will reach out to a fibrous plasterer and volunteer myself. So I'll come and work with you. Any skimming, I'll just chuck it all on. You know, I'm happy to work for X amount a day, and you know, if I can learn from you at the same time, then it's great. Paul Smith, appreciate you and your advice tonight, mate. Take care and thank you. Yeah, Paul. Good night, God bless, gents. It's getting late, isn't it? It's 11:30. Or tonight, how long have we been on live for? 3 hours. This is good for me, you see, because 3 hours, 3 hours have been live, and I've only had 2 cans of lager. So that takes. It's like it's helping me not drink too much. Mm. Alistair Booth, how's your apprentice doing? Alistair, oh, sore subject at the minute. I seem to have gone through lads like no one's business. So we had Kieran, he was ace, he left, he went on his own. He went doing nursing and then he started doing a bit of plastering and car valeting and whatever else. Anyway, he's doing his own thing. Happy, lovely lad. All the time in the world for him. He's moved on. Had another lad, Nathan caused nothing but hassle. Nice lad, but I don't want to speak bad of him, so let's just move on from him. He wasn't a good fit. Next lad, Leighton, again, lovely lad, sound, no problem whatsoever. Wasn't really, I don't know, some guys are cut out for it, some guys aren't. When you're plastering, you need to have the mindset that you will not give in. Okay, you can't be beaten, because plenty of times you'll be skimming and the stuff will start setting, and it's like you can't. If you give up, it's ruined. You've got to have this determined mindset that you will not be beaten. You know, you've got to be a very resilient person to be a plasterer, because it's a challenging, hard job. It's physically demanding. You'll be working in the cold. Everything's heavy. And you're working against a product, you know, that the plastic is setting, and you're trying to manipulate it into a shape that you want it to be. So you've got to have the mindset that you're not going to quit. Leighton was a lovely lad, but I felt like he would give up too easy with things. You know, if he couldn't get something the first time, he just, I can't do it, which isn't great. But you know, you can work that out of someone. He went off on a bit of a holiday to see his mum get married, and I said to him, "Look, I feel like the working relationship was coming to an end anyway." And I said to him, "When you come back, we'll be back on Monday. Come straight in." And he said, I might be back on Monday. I might stay longer. So he might be back on Monday, but he might be back on like Thursday. I said, okay, well, I'll tell you what, when you're back, phone me and we'll just crack on from there. You know, not a problem. Just let me know when you're back. And then he didn't phone me. And I haven't phoned him. So it's sort of fizzled out. And that was a couple of months ago. Now, since then, I need someone to film me to make YouTube videos. So I've got a nephew who's going in the Navy, and he's 16. So for the time being, he is filling the role because he's 16. He wants a couple of quid. He comes in, he holds the camera, he mixes and cleans up, but he doesn't want to be a plasterer. He's not interested in it at all. He just wants some money in the meantime. So there's no pressure on me to teach him. It's quite chilled at the minute, you know. It's just good for me because he can just come hold the camera. So that's where we're at the moment. John Irvin, good night, all be good. Yeah, take it easy, John. Good night, God bless. Ready to burn. Would you put the time on that clock? Right. I'm glad you've said this, because on that little, so these guys, Ready to Burn Wood Art, right, absolutely lovely couple. They sent me this clock for free, okay, as a goodwill gesture, because they're very, very good people, and I highly recommend that you go and check them out. But on that little sheet of paper, it said that I'm not allowed to spin the things round. I have to pick it off and do it from the back. But I've got all sorts of lights. Look at this. See, I've put lighting in behind it, and to pick that off is going to cause me nothing but headaches, because all the lighting's attached to it. So, can I do that dial with my finger? If I can, I'll change the time. But if I can't, it's got to stay like that. So, you let me know what the deal is. If you say it's okay, I'll move it with my finger. But that's why I haven't touched it, just in case I break it. Out of plumb. Good stuff, Kirk. Be lucky. Have a good holiday, pal. You're a gentleman. Ready to burn wood art? Yes, do it, lol. Okay. Right, what time is it? It's 11:40. Okay. You said do it. If it breaks, then 11. That's 11 there. Is that the right? There we go. We happy with that? Let's turn that off so you can see it. Is that the right time now? Job done. Happy days. Oh, flipping heck. Right, guys. I'm going to get a shower. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, actually. I'm going to get one more here. Wait there. So if you don't know about my crazy taste in music, I like Dolly Parton, Kenny Rogers. I like Dr. Hook, Billy Joel, Cat Stevens, Del Shannon, Dean on the Belmonts. Anyway, I've got a nice little playlist. I'm going to put some Dr. Hook on, or maybe Mott the Hoople, all the young dudes. I'm going to open this can. I'm going to thoroughly enjoy the contents in the shower. I'm going to take that, because I'm a rough ass builder. I'm going to take that can in the shower, cold beer, hot shower, Dolly Parton, full volume. I'm going to chill out. So, cheers. It's been a lovely live. I've enjoyed talking to you all. It's been emotional. We got the whisk fixed in the end. We've got the time set right. There's nothing more to say. Appreciate it all. Been a flipping absolute pleasure. Let me just plug this back in again, because we're about to lose battery power on here. Let me just plug the laptop back into the mains. Come on. There. Yeah. Sylvia's mother. He knows. John Irving knows. Dr. Hook. Now, my little lad, when he was first born, there we go. When he was first born, would only sleep to the cover of the Rolling Stone. Dr. Hook, the cover of the Rolling Stone. I could put that on, and little Kirk would go asleep to it. That was the only song that would put him to sleep. So that's me. It's been emotional. Appreciate your support. Thanks for the watch. Thanks for the views. Thanks for the comments and your kind words of encouragement. It's quite nice. We don't get any dickheads in the comments anymore, which is quite good. So, top stuff. Guys, good night, God bless. See you on the next one.